This is something that pet owners are being encouraged to pay a lot of careful attention to, all because of what took place last week in the Gravel Switch community, which is right on the Boyle, Washington, Marion County line. And we spoke today to the animal control director here in Marion County. Now, a dog came in contact with a skunk. The dog killed the skunk, but later showed signs of rabies. The dog had to be put down because there is no cure for rabies, and animal control experts say that it is also 100% fatal. The people who owned the dog are now going through various treatments because of this. Health leaders say they do not know how many skunks are infected or where they may have migrated to, but the advice to everyone is to make sure your pets are up to date on their vaccinations.
Vaccinations are key in prevention of rabies. It is Kentucky state law that your dogs, cats, and ferrets are vaccinated at 4 months of age for rabies, and they are revaccinated every year.
You are being encouraged to look for a number of warning signs that might indicate rabies in your pet, such as fever, lethargy, drooling, aggression, change in voice or barking. Dogs can also show some signs of unsteadiness or hallucinations. In Marion County, Phil Pendleton, WKYT.